Disclaimer: the content of this podcast is not intended to be a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Users should not disregard or delay in obtaining medical advice for any medical condition they may have, and should seek the assistance of their healthcare professionals for any such conditions. And now...
Yeah, we don't want to do anything to scare your children. That's the last thing we want to do. We don't want to scare anybody.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Ben and Amy on The Heavy Truth.
Hello. How are you?
Welcome to another episode of The Heavy Truth.
Yes,
I'm Amy.
And I'm Ben. How are you?
Hi, Ben.
Hi, Amy.
How has your week gone?
Oh, fantastic.
Anything exciting?
The highlight of my week was coming here to see you. Well, to see Mike, but you too.
I love it.
Yeah. And the dogs and Granny. And, what the highlight of my week this week? That's a really good question, which tells you,
So it's
This
just
is it.
it's just definitely me.
yeah.
Definitely
just-
coming to
yeah,
see me.
definitely.
Talking to all of you
Yeah.
and, helping educate more on health and wellness and weight and just all of it.
All of it.
But, we're into January 2024.
Yes, the holidays are behind us. Now we're heading up and gearing towards, Valentine's Day, right? Is that the next thing?
Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's always
We all got to
something.
recover from all the parties and holiday and family visiting and visiting family. And
Whether you wanted to or not.
really- yes, that part. Yeah. Yeah. So, and discuss how that all looks pertaining to us in the weight loss field, right? Or wanting to lose weight. So I think some big topics we wanted to talk about this time are what, Amy?
So we're going to talk about exercise. We're going to talk about sleep and the importance of sleep hygiene and hydration status.
Hydration, yes.
I think all three of those really go together nicely.
They do.
So I thought that would be a good topic. We have had a couple listeners inquire about a few of these things. So
We have.
thank you for that inquiry.
Inquiring minds want to know.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
want to know. Yes, thank you.
For sure.
Thank you for those thousands of people that are inquiring about this. And by thousands, I mean 4.
A work in progress.
Absolutely. 4 is better than none.
Yeah, that's-
inquiring, right? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So, one of the big things that I focus on in getting a good history is how people are sleeping. And
Yes.
it's something that when I start questioning and diving deep into it, I don't think people understand the importance of getting enough sleep and how it can relate to weight gain.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So,
Do you
It-
feel like you sleep enough?
I do. And I like sleep. I like my sleep. I'm cranky when I don't get enough
I
sleep.
can only imagine.
Yeah. But
You seem well rested today, not nearly as cranky as sometimes.
as normal.
As normal.
Yeah. Well, I knew you were going to be here, so I had to be on my best behavior. And I needed to be ready to go,
Get your A game.
get my A game
Yeah.
on. But I do feel like I sleep enough. I do wake up randomly throughout the night and sometimes can't get back to sleep. I'm not sure what that's all
Get up
about.
and pee.
Well, that's always been the case.
Oh.
Always. One time. Now that's the question people I say, well, I get up and I go pee, 3 to 4 times a night. And I'm like, well, that's not normal.
Right.
Right. Once is fine. But once I'm a very light sleeper. So once I get woken, then I can't go back to sleep. So that's my issue. But overall, I feel like I get a good, solid, 5 hours of sleep, 6 hours of sleep And that's what we're looking for here. We're looking for a good, solid REM sleep from patients, because when patients aren't sleeping well, they can have weight gain.
Yeah.
And some of that definitely comes down to, do they have a sleep disorder?
Right.
A sleep condition, which shocks me on how many patients are not screened for sleep disorders, specifically maybe sleep apnea.
I have sleep apnea.
You wear a mask?
I do. I wear a CPAP, and I've always worn the mask version that covers like the nose and the mouth. And with my weight loss,
Yeah, I was gonna ask that.
I've had, I have moved. My settings are at one time were very high. When I remember many years ago, when I was a wee babe, I went for a sleep study, and
How old were you?
like, like I just said, I just graduated from high school recently, right? Didn't I tell you that in one of our last spots? So I
Come
must have
on.
been, I don't know, 8 or 9.
Shut up.
So I was probably in my early 30s,
Okay.
mid 30s.
And did you know you had an issue, or did somebody?
So I knew I snored, and I had always snored, but I started to easily fall asleep when I would sit down. Now, never when I was driving or anything like that. I just never felt rested. And so I went and I had a sleep study, and they found that I would wake from sleep 90 times, 90 times an hour. So the doctor had been like, that's one of the highest I've seen.
An
And of course-
hour?
An hour. So of course they looked at everything, how my throat looked, all of that stuff, but it was all normal, right? So I started sleeping with the CPAP, and I can tell you the moment I put that on, it was the most well-rested sleep I've ever had. And with my weight loss now, my numbers, I had a recent sleep study within the last year, an at-home sleep study, and my machine settings are next to normal. Almost nothing comes
Could you
out
go
of it.
off of it?
I probably could, because I've fallen asleep occasionally without it. And my husband, shocking, yes, I know I talk about gays. My husband, yes, he says I don't snore. But then again, he's asleep, so how do you know? But anyway, I don't snore. Or he hasn't heard me snore, I'm not snoring. And my machine, when I do wear it, tells me like how many times I stop breathing throughout the night. And sometimes it'll be like 0.5. I'm like, how do you stop breathing a half
Yeah.
breath? What the hell does that mean? Well, the doctor's like, it's probably because the mask shifted or something like that, right? But otherwise, it's usually good, and I feel good without it. And I think my weight loss had a lot to do with it, because it was the anatomy of my throat, right? But I do have friends who are normal weight and thin, and they have to wear CPAP because of the anatomy of their throat. It had nothing at all to do with weight. So, but sleep did play a big game, and I feel more well rested. I mean, with school now, sometimes I'm up late and things like that, so I'm a little bit more stressed. But
Yeah, I think once somebody is diagnosed with sleep apnea, if that's the sleep condition, if they can tolerate the mask, statistically, patients, they just can't sleep without it anymore. Like they just feel so much better. There's always these ones that just say, I can't do it, and then if that's the case, I'm like, can we just try 3-4 hours of the night? At least you're getting part of it. But
they can always talk to their sleep specialist to see if they can't do the mask, might do the nasal pillows, blah, 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 blah.
I'm saying
Right.
these are patients that have already gone there,
gotcha.
that you talk to them, and they're saying to me, I still can't do it.
Oh, gotcha.
And we're like, let's just try, because we do know the importance of sleep with weight. So, it is recommended that you get, as an adult, 7 to 9 hours of sleep. Is that realistic for everyone? No, definitely not. Especially patients who maybe work overnights or, have split shifts or something like that. It's not always realistic, but we do know that lack of sleep and not getting a good night's sleep statistically can cause greater body fat, obesity, insulin resistance, and reduced insulin sensitivity, right? So when you're not sleeping good, you're not in that deep sleep, your cortisol levels go up, and cortisol causes, weight gain, specifically belly fat, so.
Why did you just look at me when you said belly fat?
Well, I know you're still working on it, so get going on your sleep.
Well, I'm going to go to sleep right now. Thanks for all that, guys.
No, but I mean, again, bottom line, we have to make sure that people know the importance of sleeping and good sleep hygiene. So, I mean, how do you help people improve their sleep, right? What are some things that we can tell patients? First of all, we figure out what their issue is. Why aren't they sleeping?
Yeah.
Is their mind not turning off?
Right.
Are they sleeping next to someone who's snoring? Do they have a dog, that is bothering them in the middle of the night, which a lot of people sleep with their dogs. That could be keeping people up. Do you have little kids? Obviously that can't go away. The dog can go away maybe. But, there are things that we can do to try and help with our sleep. So when you're counseling people on sleep, some of the things I say is limit your caffeine, limit your alcohol. Something else that people always suggest, and for me, it wouldn't work, is like stay off your phone before bed. Well, that's what I do that. I'm on my phone. So my issue is not falling asleep. I'm out in a second. It's just I wake up in the middle of the night. And at that point, I think I'm just trying to solve the world's problems, because then I start thinking about the day, what I need to do, what's on my to-do list. I'm not doing any of it right then, but I just...
Or doing it even if it's on that list. Right?
It's like you have to do it, but we're not going to do it.
Right.
But for me, that's just me. But
when I go to sleep, I'm not thinking about solving anybody's problems.
I don't do it when I go to sleep either.
No
it's
offense,
when I wake
guys
up.
that are listening to us. When I go to sleep, I am not thinking about solving anybody's problem.
So you're not worrying about getting like the Zepbound PA approved for people?
No, not when I'm going to sleep. I'm not. When I'm at work, yeah. When I'm asleep, no. I'm a heavy sleeper.
Okay.
I always say I'm the person that if I was asleep, someone could come in and kidnap my husband and I wouldn't know. Again, even if I were pretending to be, I could pretend to be asleep. If they're coming to kidnap him, I don't know if I would react either. But I mean, just throwing that out there. But yes, I do. I am a heavy sleeper, and then I talk to patients about that too. And I always think the biggest thing to ask is like you said, what do you feel? What are your barriers to sleep? Right. And sometimes it's that like you said, right. I toss and turn, or the noise, or I can't shut my brain, my thinking off, or a partner that sleeps. Right. So like you said, there are what we talked about. You avoid napping during the day, because then you'll want to sleep as you go into the evening. Right. I'm not a napper. Are you a napper?
No, because I wake up crabby.
Oh.
Yeah.
After the nap?
After the nap.
Oh, okay. Mike, is that true? Does she wake up crabby? Yes. Okay.
So I don't nap at all. But I'm not really tired during the day.
No, I'm not a napper. No.
To be honest.
Even when I'm sick, I'm not like, I'll curl up in bed with a blanket to like scroll through my phone or whatever, but I'm not a napper. But we want to make sure, and then you tell people, a regular routine bedtime, right? I know you'll have patients say, I'm a night owl, I do all these things, but have a regular bedtime, so that way you kind of set that sleep schedule throughout the week or the day. Like you said, avoid that caffeine, sometimes stimulant medication, right? If you're taking medication on a daily basis for other things, sometimes like for example, if you have ADHD, right? Some of those medications you don't want to take too late in the day because it'll keep you up. Or some people avoid a large meal before going right to bed, because it'll sit on your stomach, weigh heavily. But at the same time, you might have some acid reflux that'll keep you up. Right?
Absolutely.
And then the light exposure. I know people, when I used to work, when I first became a nurse and I worked third shift occasionally, thankfully that didn't last long. I moved on to first shift. I had those blackout curtains, because if it's too light, I'm that person that, now if I'm asleep, that's different, but I can't fall asleep where it's too light. You could turn all the lights on in the room. If I'm asleep, it's not going to wake me up.
Do you need a sound machine?
I don't think I have a fan, only because I like to feel the air circulating.
So it's not a loud box fan.
No. No.
I need
And
that.
a box fan or a loud fan? No, I don't. But I mean, some people do. And if that white noise helps, I remember growing up, I always had music playing. Like I would leave the music on or something, or I know people that will leave the TV on. But when I had done that with the TV, when I got one with a timer and it would click off, that would wake me up. So, but
Yeah.
typically I'm not that person. But those are some of the things I like to tell my patients that will help them,
So one thing that I found that's helpful and this is for me,
Meditation.
Meditation, absolutely. Yeah, I was going to talk about that, but specifically for those who wake up in the middle of the night and can't go back to sleep. A nurse practitioner that I work with works in integrative medicine, and they work a lot about stress and sleep hygiene and things like that. And she recommended that if you get up in the middle of the night and your mind is racing and you can't go back to sleep because you're just thinking about everything, is to get up out of bed, literally out of bed, whether that's in the bathroom or wherever it is, but don't do this in bed. Have a journal and write down everything that comes to your mind. And it's called like a thought dump or something like that, a thought journal. And you write down every single thing that you're thinking about and you write it all down until you can't think of anything more, and then you go back to bed. And I'm telling you, it works every time.
So you've done that?
Yep. Every time. And the things that I would write down, crazy. Like, for example, pick up dog poop.
Assuming you have a dog, which I know you do.
This is me specifically.
Oh, you
yes,
specifically. Okay.
This is me. Let's say, mail this letter, call my sister, hair dye for my mom. Like the randomest shit. That was just stupid things that I was thinking about that was keeping me up. Like it was nothing about like
world peace.
Right. Yeah. No, nothing. And I'm telling you, every time I've done it, I've fallen right back to sleep. So for those of you who wake up in the middle of the night, it's helped me, but it's also something that our nurse practitioners in integrative tell patients to do, and it helps. So, if you ever wake up in the middle of the night, get a journal, Ben.
No.
Write it down.
Dear diary. No, because anything I might have thought in the middle of the night that I want to write down would probably be able to be used against me in court. So that's probably not something I'd want to write down.
Okay, that's fair. Mine was...
Pick up poop and hair dye seems a lot less than,
Find the shovel. Get me a shovel.
Yeah, better than get me a shovel. Yeah, get me a shovel and I'm going to leave it just right there. Get me a shovel. It is winter here in Wisconsin, so get me a shovel. But that does play an important role. But then, sleep and all of that is one of the topics. But another thing that helps, we want to make sure that people are getting exercise, right? And we're not talking about these, you need to go out and run 3 miles a day and then run and lift weights and anything like that. We just want to make sure that we're moving, we're doing something, right? I think all of that goes hand in hand.
Well, it does, because exercise
helps with sleep too.
It does, but it also has an impact on your appetite. So it helps by reducing the ghrelin, which is our hunger hormone.
Yes.
So exercise, in essence, will help you feel less hungry because you're increasing that hunger hormone. So when you say that, I just can't exercise, I don't have the motivation to do it, but then you're...
I'll write that in my journal when I wake up at 2:00 in the morning.
There you go. Right. But then if you don't have the energy to get up and do it, when people are tired, they're also munching a lot too.
Yeah.
So,
true.
When I have patients that are non-exercisers that have they're just kind of like putting their brakes up, in the sand. Like the heels are down. I'm like, listen, give it 2 weeks. Let's try something for 2 weeks. Let's see how you feel. Are you any less hungry? Are you more energized? Are you less moody? Whatever the case is. You don't know until you try.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I'm always less moody after I exercise.
Well, because, it really reduces a lot of anxiety, and, it produces the dopamine, right?
Well, after my exercise, for me, it's sitting in the steam room in a towel, but that's a whole different thing. But you're right.
That helps too, though.
It does. It's very
Yeah.
relaxing. They have eucalyptus in there. That's another thing, aromatherapy. Right?
Love aromatherapy.
Yes. Now, that's where people are. You see them all on TV in bathtubs with candles lit. Don't leave those on. You're going to fall asleep and burn the house down. But yes, aromatherapy helps.
Absolutely. But I mean, as far as exercise, we know it's important to longevity. It's also statistically good for dementia, people getting exercise. But in regards to weight, they do recommend that you exercise 30 minutes.
Who is they?
The American Heart Association.
Okay.
So 30 minutes every day, 120 hours a week? Isn't that the recommended exercise?
30 minutes, 3 to 5 times a week. Yeah.
But, I'm sorry, minutes.
Yeah, not 120
Sorry.
hours.
Sorry,
Amy's
guys.
doing a lot of exercising in between that journaling, guys.
Maybe that's why I'm not sleeping.
Maybe that's why she's not sleeping. She's got, oh, Christ, I got to get up and do another 120 hours of exercise tomorrow.
But no, I mean, sometimes the reality of that is people can't get it in, or it's too overwhelming, right? So we have to break it up so it's not overwhelming for somebody. And
Yes, that overwhelming, but also you want to make sure that you're not being that person that you're doing what you enjoy. You have to enjoy it.
you have to
right?
enjoy it.
You have to enjoy it.
You got to find something you like doing,
Yes.
right? So it doesn't feel like it's a chore.
Yeah.
And I am very happy with anyone going outside the box and saying, hey, I found, this new app, or I found this new video, or, this new computer thing.
Weighted hula hoop. Have you seen that? People are doing that weighted hula hoop
Yes,
thing.
I have seen that. And you know what else I've seen? Have you seen the little individual jumping trampoline that you jump on that comes with a video?
What do you do with it?
You jump on it and
Right.
you do little different movements on it.
Oh, well, there's that. I mean, back in the day when I was just a wee tot, people used to go to like step aerobics. That was fun. Zumba, jazzercise. Remember all those things? But you're showing me that video. Well, that seems a little crazy.
No, I mean, it really, and it's fun. Like, it's like 15
This
minutes.
is the trampoline. Amy, look at that lady doing the splits on the trampoline. I write a journal about that, man.
That's me.
Oh, yeah, okay. Anyway, yeah, I just feel like that wouldn't go well. I don't know. But the weighted hula hoop thing, I see people do that as well. So short little funny story. A friend of mine got a weighted hula hoop, and she was all excited about it. And then she came a few days later we met up, and she was like, do you want to buy a hula hoop for me? And I was like, girl, why do I need a hula hoop? She's like, oh, it's one of those weighted ones. And didn't she buy it? She's like, yeah, I don't like it. I couldn't get it to go. I'm like, I don't understand. You gotta, I don't know.
I don't see how that's going to produce any weight loss.
I don't know. Mike, look that up for us. Let us know what a weighted hula hoop weight loss. And if
It just said 30 to 40 minutes. Who's going to sit there and hula hoop for 30 to 40 minutes?
well, first of all, now this is just me. I don't think I could keep that turning for 30 or 40 minutes.
Right.
I mean, I have some coordination, but let's be real.
Right. Absolutely.
And when I was 425 pounds, I would put this weighted hula hoop around me. It would look like a belt. It wouldn't move anywhere. You know what I mean? But no offense.
all your, I don't know. I mean,
the weight goes around. I see. I was picturing something different than what that actually is. All right. Learn something new every
to the
day.
makers of the weighted hula hoop, if you want to send us one, like,
Yes, we'll definitely
sample it. And
definitely sample it and let you know what we think about this weighted hula hoop.
Yeah.
It looks, I don't know. It looks like some kind of drain.
Swiss Activia. I don't know.
It looks like a lap band.
It sure does. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, there it is.
Okay.
Okay, so it kind of helps your core muscles. You kind of keep balance as it spins. She's going to knock that plant down behind her. Mike is showing us a video. That's going way too fast. This is not going to end well.
Wow.
But anyway.
But, we'd be
To
willing
each
to
their
try
own.
it.
We'll try it. If that's what makes her, if that's what, I couldn't do that for 40 minutes. For exercise for me, I go on the treadmill and I start off walking at a higher, and I bring my incline up, and over the course of so many minutes to reach a certain heart intensity in a certain zone while I do it at the gym. And then I also lift weights because strength training is a really good thing, because having had bariatric surgery, look, that leaves marks. No, having had bariatric surgery, right? You want to make sure that you're losing weight, that you're not losing muscle, right?
Right. And when we were at our obesity conference, they were talking, we had to have had at least 2 talks a day talking about strength and resistance training.
Yeah.
So that's where it's at for weight loss and for weight maintenance, especially like you said on the GLP-1s, because we don't want you losing muscle mass. Hence why it's super important to be tracking to make sure you're getting enough protein and everything in there. So
exactly. And exercise is what you make of it, right?
It
there are lots of
is.
those, if sit and be fit. There are lots of those resistance bands that you can do sitting, and do all of that. You don't have to get up and run.
No.
If you have a bad knee, a bad back, there's lots of stretches and things you can do. For instance, for Christmas, I just bought my mom one of those sit and the pedal.
yeah.
bike
How'd she
things.
like that?
Good. She's excited about it. We haven't opened it yet, but yeah, she was excited. It's got, you pedal it, right? And then you've got the resistance bands on it for her to do arm things too. But yeah, if you literally Google sit and be fit, there are videos, because I know back on PBS and stuff, that used to be videos you could, there was a lady that did it and blah, 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 and you could do it from home. But now you can go on YouTube, or you can go on this sit and be fit, and find exercises that you can do, little, 30, 40 minute videos with a variety of different intensity levels, right?
Yeah.
It depends
The
on
other
what you
one
are.
I like is yes to next. The number two.
Yes, and the number 2 next.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And that's good too, because there's 2 people in it and one person sitting and one person standing.
Yeah.
So for people who do have mobility issues, patients coming in needing a knee replacement, or just maybe who haven't exercised their entire life,
Yeah.
you can't expect them to go to the gym.
Yeah.
And no one has to go pay for a gym membership. Like you said, there's all kinds of things you can do at home.
Or if you want to pay for a gym membership, you don't got to go on the treadmill. There's Zumba, there's water stuff, there's, walking in the pool. You know what? Pop in your Richard Simmons video and Sweating to the Oldies.
Right.
And go to your own pace and enjoy yourself. Make it fun.
Make it fun. And you could do 10 minutes in the morning. You could do 10 minutes at night.
Yeah.
Make it easy, not like it's a task, and just set it on a calendar.
Do you remember when we were just at our obesity conference, those people in between our conferences, it'd be about 15, 20 minutes, and they would go for a walk, and you and I were like, oh, I wonder if we have time to go get Starbucks. Oh, I wonder if we've got time to go over here and eat something.
I'm
Oh,
going to be
wonder if we have time
honest,
to get a
I don't
drink.
remember anyone leaving going for a walk.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Overachievers.
Some of the people we were with did that.
Really?
Yeah. And I was like, well, I know you walked pretty far from where your hotel was, but.
Well, yes. But to be fair, we were very active after the conference because we walked all over San Antonio.
Well, yeah, because, the barbecue place you wanted to go to, not until 8 o'clock at night when they would be out of barbecue, we had to walk 300 miles back to wherever we were.
In the freezing cold.
In the freezing cold.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So, really, bottom line, exercise doesn't have to be a task.
No.
It doesn't have to be that way. But, according to a published study in the Journal of Obesity, I found this interesting. Moderate to vigorous exercise between 7 to 9 a.m. is the most opportune time for losing weight. Although, however, you have to fit it into your own schedule.
What time?
Between 7 and 9 a.m. Now, for me,
I'm at work.
I like exercise in the morning. When I get home,
You
you
exercise?
ask Mike if I'm going to exercise. I'm exercising in the morning.
He just shook his head no.
No, he said yes. Have no motivation come 6, 7 o'clock. How you go at 5 or 6 or 7?
Quick, funny little side story. We're gonna run this podcast a little, probably 10 minutes over. Fun little side story. One day, like you, I woke up, ass crack of dawn, woke up, it was 3:30, and I was like wide awake. I decided I was gonna go to the gym. I got dressed, went to the gym, beautiful sunrise, 3-mile treadmill run, weight lifts, sauna, had a lovely shower, fully dressed, picked up Starbucks. Yes, I love Starbucks. Please sponsor us. And I drove to work. By noon, I'm not kidding you, by noon, I literally was like, how many patients do I have this afternoon? Oh my God, I'm going to fall face forward on this desk. And I never went again in the morning to do anything.
Right. So you have to do
can't.
it when it works for you.
I don't know. For me, it's great. I like I'm a night owl.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's just, that's when I like it. But I also say, with all this exercise, my biggest thing is I try to stay well hydrated, right? Water, 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 water. That's the big thing. Now, water helps not only with weight loss, but what people always ask is, oh, if I lose all this weight, I'm going to have all this skin and blah, blah, blah. Water helps the elasticity of the skin go back. Water helps the skin look more youthful. Water helps our cells stay more hydrated. Water helps us feel full. There's so many things, that we always ask our patients to do, but the number one is, water. One of the water, hydration, good hydration.
How much water are you drinking? I know I always say, sometimes hunger, will come off. Someone will think they're hungry, but then they're actually thirsty,
Dehydrated, yeah.
So I say drink a 6 to 8 ounce glass of water, wait 20 minutes, and then reevaluate if you're still hungry. If you are, great, then have a healthy snack, low starch, with a protein in there, something.
Yeah.
But if you aren't hungry any longer, then you were just thirsty.
Yeah.
And that is the one thing we talked about, the Beartastic app or any app. I'm sure some of them have it, but I know for sure that one does. You can set timers to drink water. Get a fun mug. Get something that, you don't mind drinking out of, or it's kind of fun for you. My goal is I drink one of my, I believe it's a 32 ounce mug. So I try to drink half of it in the morning, the whole thing in the morning, and then fill it up again at lunch, and then do it again from noon to 4 to finish the other half. Now, you are drinking a lot, and, being in with...
Well, 64 ounces is the minimum, right? I mean, now don't they have you do some crazy thing, like drink your weight in water, blah, blah, blah.
Sometimes they do say that. Now, of course, if you have... kidney
Food restrictions,
disease
things
or
like this, cardiac issues.
Cardiac issue, you have to be careful of that. But
Right.
for a healthy...
Talk to your provider about that. Don't just read what you saw. Just don't do what you saw on TikTok.
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, you have to stay hydrated. And yes, 64 ounces, I'd say, would be a minimum. That should be your goal.
Again, guys, everything that we're talking about, this is coming from our own perspective. This is not us giving you advice on what you should be doing medically. Always ask your provider. But yeah. And it doesn't, you know what? I always get people say, oh, I don't like water. I don't taste water. That's fine. Add lemon, add fruit to it. Add any of the Crystal Light, Mio, anything that's going to make you drink that water, right? Coffee, while it's made with water, I give this with my mother all the time, is not counted towards your water because of the caffeine in it. It is actually a diuretic and dehydrating.
So one cup of coffee to 1 glass of water is usually what I say.
Yeah.
And then what about, patients? Because I say the same thing. You could have Crystal Light, Mio, whatever. Oh, but that's artificial sweetener. Okay, that's better than
you could be like
drinking
Dr.
a
Now
soda.
from the TV and be like that. You're concerned about the artificial sweetener.
Dr. Who?
Isn't it Dr.
Oh, Dr. Now?
Dr. Now.
Dr. Nazarian?
From
Hilarious.
that show, which we'll talk about that show on another thing.
Love it.
Yeah.
Maybe he could come on and be a special guest for us. Love
Wouldn't that be
him.
amazing? But yeah, I think water is a big thing, and so I do the same. I can say I try to be better. I try to be good with my water. I drink it mostly at the gym most of the time. I'll drink the 40-ounce bottle. I will add my electrolytes to the water and all of these things. But I think it's very important, especially there are things like the Institute of Medicine, they recommend about 13 cups or about 3 liters of water a day for the average man. And then for women, they suggest about 9, which is a little over 2 liters. And again, then it all depends on other things, right? Like if you're pregnant, there should be more water because you're not just hydrating yourself, right? But again, it all depends on the individual. And if you're outside and it's warm, you're trying to replenish what your body is releasing through sweat and through perspiration, and that's exactly what I do as I exercise. So I think it all depends on the individual, but I always recommend about at least 64 ounces of water a day.
And it's and again, that's gonna help fuel your weight loss too. Being hydrated for sure. So drink your water, set your timers, get a fun, Stanley, Yeti, whatever to make it more interesting.
Right. Yeah. Get good sleep, or see someone if you're having issues with sleep, or take Amy's advice or integrative medicine's advice and journal. Find something that's restful for you, and exercise. Right. Exercise that you enjoy. I think those are the 3 keys, because we want to make sure you're putting all these things together to get the good weight loss that along your weight loss journey, right? That you want to have.
Yeah, we want sustainability, and something that you're going to be able to stick to, and finding something that you like is definitely going to be key, because no one's going to keep doing something they don't like doing.
Right. Exactly.
So on that note, again, hope you found this episode helpful,
Fun,
interesting,
entertaining. But go on and, give us a shout out. Look for us on heavytruth.net. Send us a message. Instagram, Twitter, or now it's called X, or Facebook. Just send us a shout out. Watch us. Follow us. Tell your friends, hey, listen to these 2 idiots. Whatever. It's great. Otherwise, until we see you guys, talk to you guys again.
Until next time.
I'm Ben.
I'm Amy.
And we're the Heavy Truth.